Hey, Alan, it's so nice to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, and you, sir, how you doing?
Doing beautiful, man. Thank you so very much for being here. And you see,
Excellent.
I love to thank my guests for two things, and I do this so often to that point where I think it has even become my anthem. So, firstly, Alan, I want to say thank you for investing in yourself. You see, you are on this platform right now because you invested in yourself. And oftentimes, Alan, I love to make reference to the amazing mango tree. You see, some months back, I was on a particular road, and just by the roadside, there was this tall, unattractive mango tree. And I use the word unattractive because the mango tree's got no mangoes on it, and the leaves were all dry. I just walked past it. But you see, Alan, just recently I was on that same road, and this time around, a lot's changed about the mango tree. You see, the mango tree caught my attention pretty good from a distance, and immediately I got the urge to move so close to it, of which I did, and it wowed me because now the mango tree's got a lot of mangoes on it, beautiful green leaves and healthy branches. It looks so beautiful. And there was I standing and staring at the beauty of this tree, and I was so excited. Here is my point. The fact that you dedicated your time, energy, and resources to becoming an amazing person that you are, that alone has made it really impossible for me to say no to you. And you see, getting to read about you, learn about the things that you do, the impact that it is having, philosophies, your insight, it is amazing. So thank you so very much for investing in yourself. And secondly, thank you so very much for being here. Truly appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome, Aisha. And so for me, to go with your analogy, the most important things is like you want to be the change you want in the world, right? So you have to work on yourself in order to be able to reap the fruits, like the fruits of a tree you describe, right? To reap the fruits, not only for yourself but for the entire humanity, right? The only way we can change as a human being, as in the planet, is to change one person at the time, and to obviously transform ourselves to reach the best version of ourselves.
That's beautiful. One person at a time. I love that. And I was just,
Exactly.
yeah, I was having a conversation with someone concerning this particular thing you just said. I said, it takes just one person to spread virus across different nations. So definitely, it could also take just one person to change the world. You see, if you concentrate on changing one person, then that person also concentrate on changing another one person, then it will keep spreading like that. And before you know it, we've got a lot of changed people. That's a great one. So I am quite excited to have you on the show today, Alan, for some reasons. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking. I believe in order for one to transition from a terrible situation to that of a beautiful one, Alan, I believe it takes the application of knowledge. And not just knowledge, but the application of it. And you see, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness means ignorance, I've been so keen to knowledge seeking. Why? Because I do not want to remain in the dark. So that's going to make our conversation today very important to me and even to the listeners. The second reason why I'm excited to have the amazing Alan on the show is for the sake of the listeners. Okay, you wanted to say something. Can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, I want to say that I agree so much. This is so important, that knowledge, without applying that knowledge, it's like a fantasy
Hmm.
in your head, right? But when you
Right.
apply, then because we are designed as human beings to manifest, we're designed to experience. That's how we get also more knowledge, right? So if we don't take action and we stay in our head and live the fantasy, it's not as important. Getting the knowledge is it's one step. Like you said, the second step is just to applying that knowledge in your life. So important. You're so right on this.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for agreeing on that. Okay, so the listeners, that's the other second reason why I'm excited to have you on the show because they trust me for quality information, of which I'm totally convinced that excuse me, that our conversation is going to be insightful and impactful. So for that reason, Alan, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your personal or professional journey. We are just so curious right now. We want to know how Alan got here. Then afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Alan, over to you.
All right, so thank you, Aisha. Here's the thing. I used to live on my sailing boat in the south of France, and I used to rent boat, right? And I had a calling. I saw myself helping others. So to make a long story short, I decided to sell my boat, to sell my business, and I was drawn to become a chiropractic physician, right? So why chiropractic? Because they mentioned something that is so important to me, which is at the core of everything we do in life for our transformation, for our healing, our growth. The innate intelligence, our own ability to heal ourselves, to transform ourselves, and to empower ourselves to take action, like you so eloquently say before. So I came to the US. I became a chiropractor, right? And so I just started my own practice, right? And what I saw, it's like what I've been taught was helping people, but not to the extent that I was hoping for. So I started to investigate, okay, what can I do to help my people deeper? What can I do to transform my patient even further? What's the limit? What's the limit of transformation? What's the limit of growth? And so what I found out that, you have to have a holistic approach, right? You have to see the patient or the person you want to help or seeking for help as a physical being, right? So with physical stress potentially, with chemical stress, which is the internal chemistry, right? The organs, are they functioning, what they eat, do they have food sensitivity? And after, at the emotional and mental level, right? So when we got a problem in general, you need two things to resolve a problem. And that problem can be a health problem. That problem can be a relationship problem. That problem can be a prosperity problem. So, Aisha, you need just two things. Number one, you need to find out what's causing the problem, right? Because if you don't find what's causing the problem, how can you help it, right? And number two, you need to know how to fix it, right? The same thing, the knowledge, if you don't apply the knowledge, that's the same thing, right? You've got the knowledge, what's causing it, but if you don't know how to apply it, how to fix it, you're not going to go anywhere, right? So what I was doing at the beginning, I did some chiropractic work, but again, I said I was not pleased with it because I wanted more for my patient, right? And they were demanding more, right? And so I started to focus on the chemical stress, right? Which is inflammation in the body. And so I had 4 employees. I was seeing like 250 patients a week, right? And so I had 8 treatment rooms. I was living my passion, I was helping lots of people and making a difference. But the problem, I got caught up on that kind of a loop, right? To overwork, right? To always have my mind in my job, in my work. I couldn't be balanced, right? And so when I was coming home to my wife and my daughter, I was present, but I was there, I'm sorry, but I was not present. So I started to burn out and everything went down the drain. Everything went down the drain. And so what happened, I divorced. What happened also, I got diagnosed with early colon cancer, early stage of colon cancer. And because I was such a mess in a way, I was so unclear and unfocused, because all that stress, just my practice went to thriving to failing, right? I ended up living in my office. I say, oh, it's going to be only a few months. I spent 3 years in my office, right? And don't get me wrong, it was a nice office, right? But so everything, my health, which is what, can you imagine? This is how I help people. I will advise them. I was doing my own program, and yet I got sick with a second killer in this country. So I say, what's going on? So I have to rethink everything to just design myself, reshape myself, redefine myself. And so the only things that was good in that is like, I've never been a victim, right? I never been a victim. Why me? Why this is happening to me? I've never been, for different reasons. The first reason is like, I had the intuition that I knew this was designed for me to grow. to learn, to have that knowledge that I will be able also to transmit and help my patient better, right? And so that was a driving force, because I know if I get better, I understand what is the force that was sabotaging myself at so many different levels. Right? If I will uncover that, I will be able not only to heal myself, to transform myself, and to grow from that, but to translate that into my patient. And also I had the example of my dad. My dad was a very negative person, very controlling, and sometimes abusive, to be honest. And so he showed me what not to do. He showed me what the negative or behavior can do to yourself, because he was disabled at 40 years old. He couldn't work. Everybody was calling him to ask about his disease, right? How are you doing today, Jean? How are you doing? Okay. He was caught up on that victim mode, because he was getting the attention because he was sick. He was getting the love, so-called love, because he was sick. So he showed me that, no, you cannot do that, right? And so I started to wonder what the heck happened, right? What happened to me? And so I started to design the physical, the chemical, and the emotional, right? Because I was focused only on the chemical stress. So I created some technique to find the cause of the physical stress. It's a lot with your central nervous system, which is the cranial. So I did study cranial technique. I created some cranial technique, and I designed specific technique for the physical stress, which is the how to fix it, right? And after, for the chemical stress, I figured out that I was able to find out, okay, what organ were under stress and was causing the stress, but how to fix it. I found out that if you supercharge your body with oxygen, it does wonder, right? So I had that figure it out. And after I said, okay, now here we go. What I'm going to do for the emotional or mental, what I'm going to do to help my patient's mind and my mind too, obviously, like I said before, right? And so I started to study some emotional release technique, but I was not very pleased with that, because again, you were, as a provider, you were doing muscle testing, you were checking this and that, what's wrong, or that's the emotion, that's this kind of emotion, negative emotion that is impacting you. But again, that was not really empowering people, because they were still, I was interacting with them and they have to trust me that I was good at what I was doing. So anyway, so after 3 years of research, I created the mind clearing, right? Because I discovered the power of the mind-body connection.
Amazing, Alan. And you see, you've answered almost all of my questions. Yeah, I tell you. So I have just one to ask you. All right. So
Yes,
it
sir.
says, what is wrong with how we currently treat mental health and stress? Can you talk
Yeah,
to us
and that's
about that?
such a good question. Oh, yeah. That's such a good question, an essential and
Thank
crucial
you.
question. Thank you for asking me that. Because so what's wrong, it's like what we focus on is what we call we've got two minds, right? In a way. So it's like we live in two separate worlds at the same time. We've got the inner world and we've got the outer world. And the outer world is our conscious mind, right? It's who you think we are. It's our self-identity, it's our personality, it's what we think it's possible or not. It's the thought that we are aware, the emotion we are aware, our behavior that we are aware. This is all about our perception of reality. That's our conscious mind. And after the inner world, right, it's our subconscious mind or unconscious. And this we are not aware. In some instance, we are aware when we dream and we remember the dream that our subconscious mind sending us message, or when we've got intuition, right? The intuition comes from higher level of our consciousness, right? I come from the subconscious mind, right? But otherwise, we don't have a way to really connect and have a dialogue and just connect with the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind is where our skills are stored. This is where some programs are for what we call limiting belief or empowering belief, right? And so the subconscious mind is huge, and it records everything you have been doing, Aisha, everything you have been doing from age 0 to now. Just to give you an idea, the subconscious mind processes data at 11 million bits per second. The conscious mind processes data at 11 beats per second. So it's 1 million times more powerful. It blew my mind. It's when I realized that the conscious mind, depends who you're reading, is 5 or 10% of your mind only. And the subconscious mind is 90 to 95% of our mind. So what's wrong? We focus only on 5 or 10%. We focus only on the conscious mind, right? If you have said a talk therapy, you're going to have to talk of what you're aware of, right? And so that's going to be potentially, you're going to use 5 or 10% of your brain and mind power. But if you can tap into the subconscious mind and unleash the formidable power of your subconscious mind, this is limitless, which is who we are truly. Because, we have been told we are only our conscious mind, right? We are only our self-identity. But I'm going to zoom out and give you the big picture here, because I know you're a spiritual leader, right? So vision that, right? Let's imagine the sun is like your divine aspect, is like God, is like awareness, whatever belief you have about it, it's like the non-duality. It's all varies. And after there's a spark coming from the sun and create a spirit, right? Your spirit, Aisha, right? And so this is non-duality. So it means there's no good and bad. It's pure love, if you want. It's all varies and has ever been. And after you've got clouds in the sky. And those clouds, they are your limiting belief, right? All the negative programs that run subconsciously in the subconscious mind, right? And have been created by your past, your trauma, all the negative, all the challenges that you have trouble with, right? And so those are your limiting beliefs. And so when we can talk the same language that the subconscious mind, we can get rid of those limiting beliefs, delete them if you want, right? We delete them. So what happens? After you can start to feel the sun in your body. You can start to see the ray of the sun, hitting your body. You can feel its warmth. You get more connected to your spirit, right? When you get more connected to your spirit, you become more empowered, right? So you've got more empowering belief, which lead to more positive thought, which also lead to more supportive emotion, which is also lead to more desirable behavior and obviously a better outcome. So that's what we lost it. We don't understand that we are so much more than our conscious mind. We are the less limit. When you clear up your sky, you'll be so much more connected to your spirit, who is who you truly are. We are so powerful. We don't have any idea how powerful we are. And quite frankly, by doing this work and creating that mind clearing, it makes me realize how powerful and unlimited we are. It's just amazing.
That's very correct. We are so, so powerful. But the sad truth is what you just said. We do not know how powerful we are. That's true. So to bring this to an end, Alan, for folks who like to, and I'll take that as a final thought, and for folks who like to reach out to you, learn more about everything we've discussed, or even ask questions, how can that be possible?
Yeah, so what you do, you go to my website and there's a ton of information. You will see testimonial, and be open-minded, because the results that people experience are mind-blowing, really. Why? Because we can tap into that superpower, right, that we are. And so you go to www.themindclearing.com, and there's a contact form here, or there's my email address. And if you want to experience, because true knowledge, remember, that's what we say, true knowledge is experience. Right? So I can talk about the mind clearing forever, but if you don't experience the work, you will truly don't know what this is about, right? You can have the analytical mind, right? But really knowing truly in your heart what this is about, you need to experience the work. What I will do, I give 20% off if they mention your podcast. And with some people, because you can learn the mind clearing, right? You can learn it to treat yourself, which I do in regular basis, but also you can help others. You don't need to be a doctor. We are so powerful, Aisha. We are so powerful. You don't need to be a doctor, and you can help your loved one. And if you want to make it a job, you can. Obviously, you can be a coach and health professional and do that for your patient and really get the results that you dream of. Right? Why did I burn out? Because I was not able to help such a depth. My client. Now I help them so much that it's so gratifying when they say thank you. It's coming from their heart, and you know that you have been guiding them to help them, guiding them to empowering them to heal themselves by themselves.
Beautiful. So that's gonna be the end of the show, Ellen. Thank you for coming and thank you for sharing this beautiful stuff with us. It means a whole lot. Thank you.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. Thank you so much.
That was a beautiful